We should call this to order. I'm Cindy Hart. This is the Acton Road Committee, January 24th, 2013. Let's start with the minutes of the meeting, Dick, of our last meeting, which was August 9th, 2012. I think everybody's got a copy of those. And do I have a motion to accept, or
I'll make a motion.
Has everybody seen them?
everybody had a chance to go over them?
And
And
whatnot, they want to correct them?
I think you sent everybody out an email.
I
correct?
sent them out.
Yeah.
and Have a chance to look at them, and they satisfactory?
Yes.
Dave?
Yep.
Okay with it?
Yep.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as being read.
all in favor? Good one. Dick, also, you've done some work on the Canal Bridge. This is old business. And also the turnarounds. But Canal Bridge maybe first.
Hey, on the last Tuesday, I had the privilege of meeting the gal up in the state, Christy Mitchell, who's the state coordinator for getting things on the National Register. And she was actually down here to take a look at the Lincoln School. And so I kind of working with the selectmen on that also. And so I took her out there and I got a chance to talk to her. And one of the things I said, that I was involved with was the Canal Bridge. And I asked her if she's heard about it. She says, oh, yeah. And that she would provide us support, that if, when the time comes to anything, support that we needed on our side of the river. So, but otherwise than that, I don't know, I tried to get hold of somebody over on the committee to find out what the latest is, and I didn't get it. So we'll just have to keep working at it and see if we can find out where they are on their,
They
on
were
the consultant.
supposed to get back to us in October.
Yeah. Ed, has anything come into the selectmen about the Canal Bridge from Wakefield that you know of?
Not that I've seen.
No, okay. Well, I guess we'll talk about that the next meeting. Maybe we can get in touch with Pam. And the turnarounds, I think everybody's got that information here. We've been at these for a long time, too.
Yeah, Dick's done a lot.
He's done a tremendous amount of work on these.
You know,
Attached to your minutes is a copy of the turnaround report, and what my intention here was to address it to the road committee, and then turn around and have the road committee decide if they want to pursue something. Then we can turn around and vote on it, and then, pass it on to the selectmen for their action. So, but right now, this is what the research I did and what I found out. And I have all of the maps and aerial things, and we got goofed up in the duplicating process. So if you want, I've got them, I'll get them to you guys, or I'll get them to the selectmen also for backup information.
Excellent, thank you.
do you want us to, you want to pursue that, go
I-
further with it?
Yeah, I really do think it's a
Because the
good,
research is done, so it more or less, this letter that we're going to talk about, the MMA letter, they mentioned it in there. That was one of the questions that the previous Board of Selectmen had asked. And they recommended that you get some sort of an easement from the property owners,
Yes.
just to cover the town legally.
yes, I think that'd be very
So, I
good.
mean, we can only make a recommendation to the selectmen and see what they want to do with it. Okay? Is everybody in favor
Yep.
of that?
Well, as I say, the one, I don't know,
Well,
I'm
Buzzell,
not sure, Scott, on Willow Street, supposedly by the town meeting article and everything, there was supposed to be a turnaround provided. Now, the previous road commissioner, I don't know why he didn't
Pursue it.
get to his satisfaction. Apparently, he was satisfied to just do apparently what you're doing, And, but say, kind of up to you if you want to do anything further, either on your own, or if you feel you need the selectmen to pursue the landowner.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pursue the landowner so we can find the legal spot to turn around
Yeah.
to put money into it, or,
Ed, for your information, the research, and there'll be part of the backup information I'll provide you and for the rest of the selectmen. The town meeting article, when they accepted, it actually was Colby Ricker Road, so-called, then it was renamed Willow Street, with the caveat that there would be a 50-foot radius turnaround at the end. And it was accepted by the town meeting with that restriction. And apparently, it was never done. And, boy, I don't know, how many years ago was that? Probably at least.
I think it was
Probably-
in 76.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was in 76 when
Yeah.
all them roads got turned,
So,
The
got accepted.
development, he might be not in business, but somebody's got to own the land, somebody's paying tax on it.
Right, I mean, there is,
Well,
there is shown there's a right-of-way there, but it's, I don't, yeah,
Yeah,
it's further down, but I mean, who actually owns that right-of-way?
Right,
Does the town still have right to
Yeah.
go in there and spend some money to at least get that, make it a turnaround, you know? But
But
no,
I say, I think, and I'm willing to work, I guess, with the selectmen, I'll draft a letter from the selectmen to the landowner. He still owns all that land, okay? And I think it's called What's Left LLC.
I see that, that was funny.
That's awesome.
But it's by Colby Ricker is the one, and they're living in North Berwick, okay? And so addressing them on what situation is, and if you decide you're just going to do it, just, you know, more or less confirm with them that you will be going on their
Well, I
property.
mean, it'd be nice if, you know, if the selectmen maybe could write up a letter saying we would wish you would fulfill your agreement for the town, so the town wouldn't have to spend money, but maybe they, if they don't want to do that, maybe they'd be that much quicker to give us the okay to
Yeah.
right.
put the turnaround in.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And you probably should explain the other ones, the Peck Road and
Yeah.
Buzzell Road.
On the Peck Road, it looks like the town, that road was either closed or abandoned prior to 1956.
Yeah.
And the state statute says that anything before 1956, the land on that road right away
Divided.
turn around and goes back to the abutters to the center line. After 1956, it turned around and has to stay with a public right-of-way.
Meaning we have no access down that road legally, is what
Right.
you're saying, yeah.
Well, with an
And so
easement.
what we're-
Yeah.
I think with it there is, I think that both, where you don't want to go in, you know, do a lot, is just in that.
Yeah, it's within the
bounds of
50
of the stone walls anyway, is that if we just went with a letter to the John Hammond on
Hammond
one
and-
side and Sawborough on the other side,
Yeah.
and just get their okayed for an easement.
Yep.
You'd have to go and figure out how far down you want, whether 50 feet, 100 feet, or whatnot.
Well, I'd go up, stake it off, show
Yeah.
them what my plans
So they
were.
would know what it
It's-
is.
Now, the state MMA came back with, it's just saying we just need an easement, correct? Did they
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, that's
how
in there.
big easement or anything like that, or just whatever we feel
They
necessary?
recommended that the town, it said,
Oh, is it on that one?
the exception to using, for limited use of town equipment to maintain a turnaround. As an alternative, I suggest the town obtain an easement for this purpose. The MMA Roads Manual discusses this issue in more detail.
Yeah,
I recommend you use it as a reference. So more or less, it sounds, you know, an easement
Yeah.
from the two property owners on Peck Road.
Yeah.
You know, the legal department, you know, they could.
I'm sure there'll be no issues up there, I'm sure.
Yeah, but this way here, you're covered, you know, in the future, you know, the town will be covered.
Now, how about on Buzzell Road, have you,
Well, let's say, on
Well-
Buzzell Road, I've gone round and round on that and measured it out, and I guess Lorraine had done it years ago, and I came out with the exact same figures, and I've got the copy of that town report or whatever it is, town meeting article back in, you know, when it was first okayed, and then I made maps of the
Talking about this right here?
thing, and one of, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and if you turn around and .82 miles comes out to, I think, 4,390 feet and whatnot. And if you look at the map that I have, all of a sudden it'll turn around and show that guy that's right on the right, just as you hit the intersection
Yep.
with the,
Double wide in there.
that his street address is 442. So it's right about in where, and so my recommendation is, and we got the stuff to prove it, and that we just go down and instead of going down to that other guy's
Do a loop right
driveway,
there.
just turn around, make a wide thing at the, wide turn it, and then when you're doing the Hill Road,
See, I-
the Langley Shores.
Where they put the town, the end of town way sign.
Yeah, but
It's
that,
down up over the hill there, and I think, what I come up with a conclusion was, over the years, they just paved down over that spot. That, I don't believe that's the actual end of the road, I believe it's
well,
at
I
the
say,
beginning of it.
Somebody didn't measure it
Yeah.
when they did that,
Yeah.
and nobody will own up to who.
Well, it doesn't make any sense that a
Put the
road
sign
starts
up.
100 feet in from another road, so, that one there, we pretty much,
Yeah, as long as you, when you did plow the snow in there, as long as you didn't bury Buzzell
Yes.
Road, for
But-
people coming up the other way.
Right.
But the town would need to turn around and notify those people that are further down, if you don't go down to that driveway anymore. Now, I noticed that place is up for sale, and who knows, maybe the new owner won't want you turning around in his driveway.
Right, exactly.
So that's another thing too,
This would eliminate the problem.
So I say that would eliminate a lot of problems.
I think that's what we discussed
Got the-
last time, being an option.
Yeah.
Got everything in writing to back up.
Back it up, that's basically
So
what I
say,
want.
They may not like it, they didn't like what they got last time.
Right, if it's not a town road down over that, from that Langley intersection there, if it's not town road over there, then we have no rights being down in there.
So anyway, we'll present that to the selectmen, and then the selectmen can decide what they want to do.
We have, everything is here,
Obviously.
ready to present to them,
I'm
right?
turning around.
There's
roughly
a,
right
And
here
Ed
now.
can bring this,
All the copies and whatnot.
Supposedly writing this
Have 'em,
area was the
I've
old,
got 'em,
it
but
just stopped. The town
Yeah.
owned this little section
we didn't get them all
supposedly.
stapled up.
But they're basically saying that the town doesn't. So now I'd be turning around, well, I'd just be stopping, blowing the snow here and then going down this way. Thank you, Dick. There was a lot of
yeah, you
research.
did a great
Yeah.
job, thank
We
you.
did it all.
Whatever I do, I'll turn around and have something back me up. It isn't because, I'm trying to sneak something through or whatnot.
No sneaking.
No, that-
All
that-
facts.
That's the only way to work, okay? I'm not going to weasel word or turn around and try to interpret things.
No.
That's why I made copies of everything, so that anybody, questions it. There it is in writing. It isn't me.
Right.
So all this will go to Ed and be taken care of. You guys
Yeah.
can,
Take a look at it, yeah, and see where it needs to go.
yeah, that would be good, because we've had this on the agenda now for over a year. So we're trying to clean it up tonight.
Essentially, the road committee accepts it and recommends that we
Yeah,
turn
so
around and turn it
are we
over
in
to the
agreement as a
selectmen.
road committee that this is the way to go with these three turnarounds and
Yeah, I
we
make
should
a motion that
proceed?
we accept it.
Yep, I second it.
Second, all in favor? RSMS.
It's me.
David, please, you've been
Okay.
there. Tell us.
Yep, I attended a, RSMS class, I believe it was September, around that point in time, down in Wells, over the new system. And, it was a full 8 hours or so. And, of course, I've got some literature here. The system now is quite a bit different from the last system. It's a lot more user-friendly. It's actually pretty easy. But we went through, I've got some, I'm just trying to, here we go. What we did is we went over some, here we go. That's some of where they give us a road on a screen there and kind of, do
You're
the-
driving down, yeah,
we're not driving,
Okay.
we're looking at, on a movie screen.
Sitting in a
and it's
chair,
showing us,
yeah, okay.
Okay, and this is pretty much what you'd be doing on a computer. And, but
pretty much very similar to.
it is, you don't,
Now, there are no culverts on this, right?
no culverts. It's pretty much the change, the conditions on the roads, like this right here, they'll show on this here.
Is it
you know.
GPS?
No, what they recommended, Jerry Douglas recommended that we could do this by landmark or by telephone pole.
Why not GPS?
He said that that's the preferred route to go. I guess maybe because most people don't have one in their vehicle, I don't know.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's just what he told me. I guess we can do whatever we feel. But that's just the stuff we use to, do all that, whatever. But now, on the other hand, I had spoken earlier about the information that I had on my computer,
Yep.
from the last RSMS program, and unfortunately, we've tried just about everything. I've been in touch with Jerry. I've tried doing stuff like emailing it to Richard. The problem was, without having the actual program, we can't download it. Get the material off.
Can
the
Jerry
computer.
get the disc from?
But, yeah, sorry about that. But the problem is also, I talked to Jerry.
Yeah.
And I had him send me this email. The last program we had was RSMS 98,
Yeah,
okay? That system was created in 98. We've had numerous systems since then. So
Okay.
my question to him was, is the information that I have on my computer compatible with the new program? And unfortunately, it is not. It cannot be, unless you take all the information, every page by page, and pull it off the computer and place it onto another one. Now, this is what he wrote, and if you want to read that out loud,
I'm trying to save my.
Jack can do it
voice here.
then.
If you could read that, I'd
So
appreciate
it's
it.
a little disappointing.
Okay.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
This is from Jerry Douglas to Dave. David, the RSMS 11 program is not compatible with the old RSMS program. It's two completely different programs. You cannot transfer the data from the old program to the new program without the services of a software engineer, who will then do it for a nominal fee.
So.
Well, that's where we are.
Yeah.
And so where I've been doing a lot of thinking after going to the last training course and seeing where this is really gonna get us, My concern is, by looking at the past where the state has gone with this program, they've changed this program numerous times.
Yeah.
And every time they change it, it's not compatible with the new one. So it's a little frustrating to think that you go put all this time into it, and then later on, you can't even use it.
True.
So, I think, my opinion, I haven't discussed it with Scott yet or not, but, I don't know if this is a road that we want to go down, this program itself. I think maybe we ought to research, see if there's some other program that we might be able to get into that, with the track record the state's got,
Yeah,
they keep changing it so often. This program here is pretty easy.
yeah,
The programs, you plug the information into it. What you're doing is pretty much saying, okay, this road is bad from this point to this point. It's supposed to be a calculation. They'll give you the calculations of what it's gonna cost to do parts of these roads. Whether or not, those numbers reflect what our numbers are, it might be a whole different thing between state and local roads, but, it might be something we might wanna look at a different avenue.
FEMA had a program called Road Tracker, and I took their class, and that got dollars and cents. I don't know if you had, Tom, had you ever seen that? And Dick tried to find it through the FEMA programs and was unable to. But I took a 2-day class on emergency funding and what we might be able to get if we were able to have a system in place like RSMS. Now we don't qualify for a certain amount of FEMA funding, which we would if we get something like this in place. But their program, Road Tracker, looked very good, and if there's any way we can get through to FEMA, and I don't know who is the contact person, perhaps you would.
Bill Catanzi now is your EMA director, so, in town here.
Is he? Okay.
We'll take a look and see what he can find out.
That would be good. That would be good. The other thing, whether, although we can't use the RSMS old information, it's vital to Joe Anderson and the people with AWA and also to the planning board for their stormwater management. The old system has every culvert in town
Yeah.
measured. It is graded for its quality. Its material is noted, and it's marked by a GPS locator.
Yeah.
This, I mean, the planning board, with what you guys are working on, I mean, we did all the private roads around the lake. We did every road in town. And I just think it's a shame for this information to be lost. If we can't use it in this way, it certainly can be used by others.
We can get this program, we need the program to get it off the computer. Whether or not, because it has come up missing.
Well, let me see if I can, why don't I see if I can do that? I've met with Jerry and Jack and I did this whole program, so we've driven every road in
So
town trying to get it.
I didn't get into it in depth with them on the stuff for AWA and all that. I was more concerned about, the Acton Road system itself.
Sure.
So I didn't, say, push it any further after he told me it wasn't compatible with the new system. To me, it was a dead issue. But, if we can find the old program, if we can get our hands on an old program, when, the RSM 98, because there's a couple, 3 or 4 other ones in between, I believe. So it's gotta be 98. And if we can get that program, I can extract that from, that information.
Well, perhaps Pam helped you with that,
She
right?
doesn't have the, because I made the calls, she doesn't have it. It was up in this town hall.
It was in the town
It
hall.
wasn't in town hall, and it has since disappeared. So, we've tried emailing it to my other computer, trying to do this, and that. It doesn't work. And I'm not a real big fan of having other people.
Does the state have any, Dave, does the state have any copies of it?
Jerry might have a copy of it. I'm sure that they got a copy somewhere,
Well,
I'm sure.
I'll run that down and see what I can find out on it, because we can't lose that information.
No,
It was hundreds of
it's
hours
all
of
there.
work. Yeah.
I've been going through it, and that's what, at first, I thought, well, maybe I could translate it over to paper, but there's just so much of it, I'd be, I don't know how long you guys were out there, it was weeks anyways.
We were out there for weeks.
And it would be
weeks
an
doing that.
ongoing adventure, and then, because now you gotta categorize it all from road to road, so, some roads had 10, 12 different labels, because you're going from one spot to another.
That's right.
So
You
it
know,
was.
even if they had it, with the code enforcement officer, someone comes in, you've got
Yeah.
all the information there as far as culverts and stuff
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
Plus
So-
with the planning board,
And we'd
be
like to,
back.
and we should move all road information down with the planning board and code enforcement. I mean, what we're talking about, your road inventory is your RSMS or whatever program you do with it.
Yeah.
Along with that is the background that's upstairs. But selectmen seem to come and go, and the planning board is forever. And we need to keep this information so that we have it on hand for future road commissioners or whomever is doing this work, and not lose valuable man time. This is a shame.
The only reason it's on my computer is when they did the original RMS,
Yeah.
the data, they used my computer to do all the labeling onto that disk.
Yep.
It was down, they saved it. I guess it was lucky, that
Yeah.
she had saved it. But, unfortunately, with the disk gone, it's kind of a little difficult. And other than that, if we want to look down other avenues, possibly, I guess the only concern I got with the RSMS system that they have now is I'm just worried about the new changes, if they continue changing like they have. The system's very easy to do, but the problem is, you know, we can go out and do that road inventory and say, yeah, this road's bad, this one's fine. It'll work good for the work that's been done. I think that's where it would be more valuable to us on the road that's already been done, so that, you know, you can look back in 20 years and say, this road got paved on
Exactly.
2009. We don't have any of those
Exactly.
records. I'm trying to figure out in some of the, you know, roads, the last time the Garden Road was paved, the first part of it. I have no records of that. I can't, you know, so this program would work good for that. I don't honestly think that going out and using this system to say if the roads are bad or not, whether or not that's gonna help us a whole lot at this point in
Yeah.
time, because we really don't have, it's hard right now. This system will work fine if we had a 10-year plan where you can say, okay, we're gonna go out and we're gonna lay down we do 30 miles of road, we're gonna do three miles of road every year and consistently stay on that 10-year plan, but we can't do that with the funds that we're running right now, so it's kinda like you're almost going in circles here. So, it would work good for keeping track of what we've done, telling us what we're gonna be doing later on down the road. I don't know if it's really worth the aggravation.
Well, I'll check with Jerry Douglas and see what we can do about getting the information off your computer one way or another and getting that to the planning board. But I think all road information should be down there. We have had a terrible time keeping track of stuff upstairs. And anyway, do we want to vote on this or what, what do you think? About moving our materials downstairs. Do we want to vote on that as a committee?
How do you feel about it?
I don't understand.
I know there's room down there for file cabinet, and there are tables, so you could put stuff out if we get into
So,
more work on these roads, but I'm just concerned that,
right
you know,
now,
we've lost so much information up there.
so what materials are you talking about? Are you talking about the stuff
Everything
that we'll
from
be putting in the, say we use the
Anything to
RSM?
do with roads. I mean, I think this committee should have all information. Any mail that comes in on DOT classes, there are people on this committee that would attend the classes, and I think that's good. Scott and I went to a bridge class last spring, and I thought that was very beneficial. And sometimes we have time during the day, we would go when you wouldn't, and be able to bring back information for you. But nonetheless, we're not getting, whatever is coming in here just goes past us.
This is on information with the, any information from, in the future.
Yeah, I mean,
Like you do the RSMS plan.
Yeah.
To do that again, I mean, we need to have a home for it, and somebody is going to
Well,
have to
yeah.
maintain it in here.
I think we're jumping the gun though, because I think we have to establish what we're gonna do first. Because we haven't established if we're even doing the RSMS yet, and so where we're gonna put it is really not a factor at this point in time. I think, and with the classes and stuff like that, I mean, all we do is get ours right in a box. Up here, it's all we get, we get stuff sent to us, and that's about it. The information that for the town of Acton, for all the road work we do, all goes through the selectman's office and is filed away. I'm not sure where you guys put it, but Michelle usually files away, I'm sure. And that's the only information that we have.
I mean, we have been presented with quite a bit of information tonight, and I wouldn't see any problem of at least having something, some kind of file or something that we can keep, like all these records that Dick did, and
Yeah.
and all the information, even, that Bob Smith brought us and stuff like that. So anyone,
Yeah.
anyone, one of us or any new members can go back to it
Right.
to see
mean,
whatever's done and stuff like that.
Not only that, if we do locate a disc and are able to download.
Well, that's what you're
information,
talking about, taking
where
this
do we-
information here.
Where do
but
we
I-
put it?
I was under the impression that you want the information, like, like on my payrolls where it's all my information.
No.
That's
we're
where
not
I keep all my
we're not-
information of what we do on our roads.
No, that's
And all the
not what-
time cards and stuff like that, so I guess I misunderstood where you were going with that.
I think the thing is, we say if you get a, what is it, I would say, an email or a letter or whatnot and everything.
You wanna know
and
file
it's
that
kind
way.
of general about the roads and whatnot, you think that the road is something, the road committee would be, other people on the road committee would be, you know, interested in, just to keep up with what's going on.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I like-
it isn't the, you know, the things that kind of, I won't say personal, but, you know, directly affecting, you know, you.
Right, I mean, like, every year we get a letter from the state to fill out what we spent our Europe monies on. I mean, stuff like that would be nice to have a copy of that and put in that file, saying we did this much paving on this road, spent this much money. That would be nice records to store and stuff like that.
If the state sends something out, they're gonna have a class on something, you know, I'd like to know about it,
Yeah, I mean, I will definitely,
yeah.
Yeah, we'll go.
we can pass them on and, yep, anything like that.
Okay, where are we on RSMS? Are we
Well, I'm
are we
gonna
pursue
talk
it?
to Jerry Douglas and see if we can't get the disc and get the old information. We're gonna look into I'll look into the FEMA road tracker, see if I can't find, chase that down. And then at our next meeting, we'll go over it.
Yeah.
If we're going to do it, it would be nice to do it to coincide with the fiscal year, have all of everything ready. So when you start the finances, and then after a year or so, you'll have something you can look back, a couple of years, you'll be able to look back on it and have good information to plan with.
And also a central location for all the information.
A central location for the information is
Other than,
really
you know,
critical.
Anything,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I understand what you're
work-wise
talking
and-
about now, I
yeah,
just,
yeah.
it's a little unclear.
Nope.
And that's, I believe, the end of the new business,
Well, we got
old business, but new business is you, Jack.
Well, we got this, the letter, the MMA letter. This is just, last May, we had gone in because back in, I believe it was November of 2010, with the Board of Selectmen, the former Board of Selectmen at the time, said that the road commissioners were the only ones that could call a meeting of the road committee. So we had gone in last May to get talk to the selectmen about it, and we asked them to get in touch with MMA. So they got in touch with MMA and came back, and what the outcome was is the meetings can be called by either the road commissioners or the chairman of the road committee. It's a standing committee. Everyone on this committee has been voted into office. The only time that anyone is appointed is if there is a vacancy. So we've got that straightened out, and so, in the future road committees, I just want to put that out there so that they know that the road committee, it was created by town meeting, and the town meeting, I believe, is the only one that could abolish it. So, that's all I wanted to say about that letter.
New business, Jack.
Business, okay. The new business, the thing that I'd like to talk about here is, where the road committee, there's a proposed change in the positions of your road commissioners. And, the committee, we were never even informed anything about this, And we really feel, we're only an advisory committee, but I thought it would be courteous if we had been asked our opinion. So I just want to open it up and, maybe discuss it. I've done a little research on it. And, my feeling is that, when you have the road commissioners elected, they're residents of the town, they're taxpayers in the town, you have an appointed road commissioner, anybody could be appointed. So, they don't have a vested interest in the town, so. But that's my opinion.
I also,
Well, one thing, was it the 21st of February? There's a public hearing
Yeah,
here at the town hall
yeah.
to turn around and for
Right,
people to come in.
right,
and
right.
I
ask questions
understand
and-
there is, I was hoping perhaps the selectmen would reconsider and save us all some money here on this election. We've had a lot of feedback. I'm sure you've gotten calls. You're on the road committee. I know I've gotten phone calls. I've yet to have anyone call and tell me that they thought it was a good idea. And I have people that totally hate each other that think it's a bad idea. So, and we do take umbrage at the fact that we were not even spoken to here. We've looked at this longer than I think a lot of you guys. And it's not the time to do it when we get if there is a time when we have a town manager, it'll be probably worked out that there will be a public works director. But we're not ready for that now, I'm sure. And that's my opinion.
And the only comment I have, pass on to the selectmen, is if the intent is to keep, go through with this, the one thing you're lacking is a job description. You really need a job description, because people will turn around and at the public hearing and at the town meeting will clobber you. What's this guy gonna do? And all of a sudden, if you just,
We're gonna have a job description.
so as I say, if the change was to go through, you gotta have something. And like, my basic feeling is, without it, then all of a sudden, whoever's your buddy gets the job. Because as I say, you got nothing, what do you do? And this has been the problem in the past, okay?
Well, I don't,
You're gonna turn around and have a job description with qualifications, and then all of a sudden, then you turn around and go out and advertise the job, and people that apply have got to meet these qualifications, not just be a drinking buddy or a hunting buddy or whatnot, or fishing buddy or whatnot. So, but as I say, that's,
I'd like to make a motion that we make old and new business settled for tonight, and let this gentleman, Bob, he's been waiting patiently
Yeah,
to do his presentation.
Can I just give you-
I'd like to hear what Tom has to say
I'm sorry.
first.
yeah, I
And
think
Ed.
we're getting out of this a little too quick here.
Yeah.
As far as not bringing it to you folks, I apologize for that. It was an oversight on our side. We should have brought that towards you, just, as a courtesy. So, I do apologize for that. Next time we come up with something new with the roads or whatever, we'll point that in your direction, definitely. But that was an oversight. We will have a job description before the public hearing. We are kind of working on that right now, so, but that's mine.
Okay,
Tom, I think wants to say something.
before, you gave us this article about the striping. Did you want to comment anything about that on the new business?
No, I
The
just
road
like to
striping?
hear his
That's Bob Smith.
presentation. It
Oh.
was just some information that
I'd like to hear what Tom has to say.
Okay, go ahead, Tom.
I'm just going to
That's
express
it.
my concern with this. My concern always has been. The selectmen board is not a management team. It's not an effective management team. I don't think it ever has been. From time to time it can be, depending upon the people who are there. But our town government is not conceived with a hierarchy, a management structure. And historically, I don't think the selectmen have done, when they have attempted to manage, they've done a very good job of it. It's ended up with a lot of animosity and fighting between people because the boundaries of who's responsible for what are not clearly defined. Fact is, right now, the town meeting hires, by means of vote, our road commissioners, and as such, the town meeting hires, the town meeting also has the right to fire. That means effectively they manage. If we create a position appointed by the selectmen, now the selectmen are hiring, they're firing, effectively they manage. And you're creating a hierarchical structure in which there's potential for conflict and a lot of other difficulties. So if the selectmen wish to pursue this, I think they need to really think through the implications for management, for the creation of management structure within the town. We have two offices now that I'm already uncomfortable with. That is the town clerk and town treasurer that are appointed, and I understand that that has been done reasonably successfully, and certainly the people that are in those positions, I think, are very competent, probably more competent than what we've had there before. I'm not sure that's enough justification to expand the management function of the Board of Selectmen. I think it places a lot of responsibility on the selectmen, a lot more than what they have now, because these guys now they get the calls for the roads, but they're not responsible. They can say, go call your road commissioner. If we start with a management structure and an appointed position, they're going to take the calls and they're going to be responsible now for telling that person what to do. That's because the town is going to perceive the selectmen as management body here. And that starts to cost money. The higher you stack, the higher the management structure becomes, the more money it costs. That's my biggest concern.
I've had this conversation with the selectmen already about this whole deal. I'm conflicted on whether or not this is a good idea or not. Unfortunately, I believe the selectmen are doing this because they have no other route right now. So,
I'm just expressing my
yeah,
concern.
you know, so, and I understand exactly what you're saying. I've been contemplating the whole thing over and over, and whether or not it's a good idea or not. There's a lot of cons. I don't know if there's as many pros. It's kind of taken away from the right of the people to decide who's taking care of their roads. At the same time, you could also have a revolving door of road commissioners. Because you have a revolving door of selectmen, you'll have a revolving door of road commissioners also. So, but at the same time, this goes through, we'll see what the town of Acton seems to deem what they think should be done, and, yeah.
Well, I'd like to go on record that I feel this is a waste of money for the vote. I really do. I'd like to see that money put into something like a study on the Hopper Road Bridge, when we know we've got a problem. I know you've looked at it, Tom. I don't know if Scott's had a chance.
Well, Scott doesn't take care of that road, I do.
No, but we took the bridge
Yeah,
class, and I wondered if he
I've
had
got the
just,
information on that.
well, I
that
wondered
bridge.
if he had peeked at it and noticed the scouring underneath.
I've got the state information showing that it's in pretty bad shape, pictures and all.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough, David. And I don't know, there will be a point where you're going to have to come up with a bunch of money, because that's a town responsibility.
Yeah, we know that. And right now, we can come up with all kinds of responsibilities we take care of right now, but until the town starts wanting to dish out some money to do it, which we're not right now, we're asking to flatline our budgets again. And we've got to start looking at what we're going to do in the future, start getting on track here, so we can start taking care of some of these problems.
I hate to interrupt, but we've got to move this.
Yeah.
Move this along.
Thanks anyway for giving me a chance anyway to try to make a spiel to you pertaining to striping the roads. Now my issue is striping some of the roads. I have outlined perhaps about 19 plus miles of roads that I think are in need of striping. I presented this to the selectman. Dave was there, so he happened to hear it already once too. Scott I've already talked to, so he knows a little bit about the background of what I've been trying to do. I have a packet for each of you that I will give you before I leave anyway. And essentially it is going through research that I put together revolving around statistics from national organizations and also from state organizations. I went through the local road association in Augusta, and when I spoke to that person, he had quite a bit to say about striping. The main gist in my mind is it's going to save people's lives. Now I get comments from people that I speak to that say, well, when was the last time somebody died in Acton? And I guess my concern is not so much when the last time somebody died in Acton in an accident, but that the number of people who die in rural route crashes across the country. It's incredible. I mean, 23% of the roads in the country are rural roads, but 56% of the deaths are on those rural roads. To me, that's pretty astounding. Now, I go back to a career in education, but I also spent 20 years teaching driver ed. And so I have a background that makes me aware of things on roads that I see. And granted, I've also only been here for about 5 years. I know when I drive down a road that I'm on a road that I might be taking my life in my hands. Like I said, I have picked a number of roads, but by far, the road that I find the worst is the H road. And granted, I drive the H road often, I drive the H Road obviously to the transfer station. But not only that, there's the landscaping business, and there's the ways to go the back way out and around toward Sanbornville. I just think that road is terrible without having any guidance for people to get from here to there, especially in the nighttime. That all being said, I'm looking really for your support more than anything else. My initial plan was to try and see if I can get money for this in this coming year. I've begun to realize that that is not going to happen. So my plan is to keep pursuing. I don't know really the chain of command. I mean, I guess I understand that you guys would make recommendations perhaps to the road commissioners, and then perhaps they would make recommendations to the selectmen, but I still don't know where that's going. The selectmen have been on record saying essentially that they would veto any new monies. So again, I guess I'm saying I'm not sure that I can get anywhere this year, but I am focused, let me put it that way, and we'll see how that goes as we go on. Let me take a minute before we get out of here. Does anybody have a question about any of the things that I haven't?
Do you have a list of those roads?
I do.
Did you highlight it? Yeah, okay.
It's the H Road, the Hopper Road, Sanborn Road, the Acton side of Goose Pond, it's County Road, those kind of, Young Ridge, another one. So I traveled all these roads. I looked at them physically to see what I thought about them. I may have missed something that could be on a list too. And maybe other people might think that, well, this doesn't have enough traffic. That's debatable. Okay.
I'd just like to make a comment.
Go ahead.
I wish to thank you for bringing this up. I've been kind of on my back burner, but it's one of the items that I agree with you 100% on. And I just say it's been on the back burner. I haven't had a chance to bring it up.
Town meeting has had this discussion before.
And
I don't doubt that.
yeah, and in the past, when I have brought it up, I get the same answer, money, can't afford it, it costs too much. I turned around and talked to Ruth Ham over in Shapley to try to get some background information, and she said, call you. And I never got around to calling you, so, but I say, I know I'll be interested in looking at the packet that you have, and I think we all can, and maybe we'll have it on the agenda for
Our next meeting.
The cost, to give you a ballpark figure, to do those 19 miles with a double yellow line and the 2 white lines on the edges, assuming the road that we're speaking about is wide enough, has to be at least 22 feet wide, would cost under $15,000. Now, take away some of the roads, obviously you're going to reduce that rate. But that's basically what the figures were from the same company that did Shapley, and they came highly recommended, not just recommended. Couldn't say enough about the guy who did that. And again, I'm not saying that shouldn't be who we go through. I've in fact included a list of all the people who strike in Maine that the state has put out. So,
But I think it's worth looking into and get together with the road commissioners.
Motion to adjourn. We got to
Second.
get out of the way here.
All in favor? We're out of here.